Okay, Mark meets Andy Kinsella, executive producer at Stink Digital. Hi Andy.
Hello.
Can you give us a very quick summary of your career?
So I sort of studied marketing at Lancaster University. Did a little bit about kind of behaviour in organisations. Weirdly enough, did a thing about marketing on the internet back in 1995. But I've kind of always been into computers, and I had Spectrums and Atari STs. So it's that weird blend of kind of communication and technology kind of always interests me. So one of the first jobs I did was I worked at Nestle in their creative services department. So I was sort of helping the brand teams. It's when websites were first being built.
What year was this roughly?
1998 to 2000 maybe, something like that. It was quite a while ago now. So I used to do stuff like point of sale material and designing kind of presentations to launch products and stuff like that. Left there to work at a .com startup. So I worked in the music industry. I wrote reviews of live gigs, music, CDs, albums, and I was also a producer. So we built these kind of kiosks, these interactive kiosks that you put in clubs, and ravers used to put £1 in and kind of take photos of themselves
off their face.
Yeah, fresh. And then it would obviously connect out to the internet, and it would send your photo of you mangled in a club to all your friends, and then that was then put onto a gallery, so you could then see everyone that was doing it at the weekend that had been in the same club as you. And there was mailing lists and kind of newsletters and stuff like that. But that was in the sort of the .com boom, and United News and Media shut us down. So I went to work for a DJ. So I kind of was I toured with him around the world. I sorted his music for him. I moved him from kind of vinyl to digital. And I also worked with Deconstruct. So we kind of did this, and Sony BMG, or BMG as it was at the time, to do a really cool website, So I kind of took all the learnings of, how you talk to people, how you structure stuff, what things should look like. And that was great. That was kind of, I think that was 2001 to 2005. And then I joined Glue in 2005 as a producer. So I kind of left my raving days behind me, and joined Glue as it was. This was just this kind of amazing digital hotshot. And I was there for 6.5 years, so I did a lot of their kind of award-winning campaigns. Have really, really, really fond memories of it. Brilliant people, brilliant work. I think I was a producer there in the looser sense of the term, so I was never really that good with budgets and timings. I kind of cared more about the work than I did the money. Still do. And then the last 2 years there I worked in the creative department as an innovation director, so kind of looking at the way brands could for me it was always about doing interesting stuff in interesting spaces, a bit of culture, a bit of creativity, a bit of music and art, social interactivity. And then I started at Stink Digital in January 2012, and it's been a hell of a ride in the last 5 months.
And for you, what's the best thing about agency life?
It's hard to say because I've just left agency life. It's kind of this is Stink Digital's kind of a weird mix of agency, creative agency, and production agency. I think the people and the environments that they create is one of the things that draws me to this kind of industry. I've always either tried to surround myself or hang out with people that are better than me. People who are probably a little bit smarter than me. And just try to help them do great stuff. For me, it's always been about the work. It's always been about the people.
What's the best bit of career advice you've had?
Have fun. I think that the minute you start taking it too seriously, it's kind of it kind of finishes a bit. Obviously there are stresses and strains, and there's a lot of kind of money invested in the type of work we do. But I think, be creative, be adaptable, be flexible, and kind of, have fun with it though as well is really important.
And what advice would you give people that are looking to get into the industry today?
that's a good one. I guess it's you kind of need to be adaptable to change, really, or kind of embrace change. I think that there's, you know, we kind of hire people who are smart, who get it, talent, enthusiasm. I think that, you know, we kind of, it's interesting because agencies kind of look for people to put in boxes. We kind of look for smart people and almost generalists a little bit, you know, people that can turn their hand to lots of things. And people who, you know, people who have a great way about them, you know, can talk to people in the right way, can share their ideas and be flexible with their ideas is really important as well.
Doesn't that generally come with, I guess, being commercially mature, which I guess you get from experience? It's quite hard to get that when you first enter.
It is, but I think, you know, we can kind of, you get a sense of people who have good ideas but are willing to listen and learn and adapt, you know, and it's and it depends the discipline you're working in a little bit as well, but I think that the first thing is get that foot in the door. I mean, for me it doesn't really matter. I mean, I started, as I say, I started work as a producer in the loosest sense of the term, but very quickly once I got into Glue, you know, planning, account management, in front of the client, you know, thinking about the strategy, you kind of expose yourself to all that stuff, and you can sort of take on bits of those roles as well and work with people and shape that. And I think that's kind of why my role ended up where it was, of kind of this innovation role, because it covers so many things, you know, and that flexibility was great, and that's kind of led me to where I am here, where I cover so much stuff here. It's unbelievable now.
Kind of in one sentence, how does Stink sell themselves to clients?
I'll have to try and remember it properly. I think it's, you know, we kind of create engaging, innovative experiences, independent of platform, really.
Okay. And how does this experience here differ from what the kind of 2 or 3 main differences from this kind of startup environment to when you were at Glue?
Time. Things move so much faster here. I mean, we kind of, obviously we're in the meeting room at the moment, but we don't really have many meetings. There's lots of kind of stand up in the morning, talk to people and go and do it. Main differences. I mean, it really is time. I mean, we think creatively, we think strategically. Obviously, the relationships are different. We have agency relationships across Europe and across kind of Australia. So London services Europe and Asia, New York services North America and Canada.
And do those agencies approach you, or do you have a new business team that approaches them and say, look, we want to get involved with kind of production side of your work? It's
a little bit of both. So I mean, I tend to find that the work speaks for itself. You know, so if you do amazing work, people come to you, and you know, we get a lot of people just they'd seen something and they kind of, oh, can we have something like that? You know, that'd be great. Or just generally, you know. So we finally just got our first website up, and it kind of covers off a lot of our best work since 2009. And I think that has been great as well. We're finding a lot of agencies are coming in, kind of knocking the door down at the moment.
Cool. What does it feel like to win an FWA site of the day every day or every other day?
It kind of puts pressure on you to deliver, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm really I can't take all the glory because, like I say, I've only been here for 5.5 months. But one of the things that drew me to Stink Digital was the kind of the quality of the output and the craftsmanship and the creative care that goes into the stuff. I mean, again, I'm really lucky to have an amazing team around me who do a lot of the kind of the legwork. So I'd love to sit here and take the glory, but yeah, I can't. But it is good, you know. The work is good, and we are not selective about the work we do, but there are certain kind of projects we kind of prefer to do.
Who does Stink see as their main competitors?
I mean, it's a really wonky answer, but I don't really have any. I think that, you know, there are production companies out there. Because we do some agency work and some direct-to-client work, you know, you could say agencies and production companies are our competitors, but I think there's enough good work out there for everyone to kind of get involved. Obviously, you look at you know, we know the companies that do great stuff, you know, and it's not just London, you know, all over the world. We look at the global remit, so yeah, I don't really kind of feel in competition. There's, you know, we pitch a lot, we win a lot, we don't win some, but that's kind of how it goes.
Okay. Who's the most creative person you've ever worked with?
It's really hard to name names. I've worked with lots, to be honest, and for lots of different reasons. You know, weirdly enough, like I've creative directors, but also creative account managers and creative planners. You know, I think that creativity is not something that's limited to the creative department. So, you know, we have a lot of really good, smart thinkers across lots of different disciplines, and that's really important to me.
And what's been your favourite account to work on?
I suppose, I mean, one of the first really big ones that I did was, again, I think this was 2005, 2006. It was Royal Navy getting the message. We had an amazing client at the COI. I met the rear Lord Admiral of the Admiralty, who just was, we don't understand this stuff. You just go and make it brilliant. I mean, when you get that from a client, just complete trust. You know, it was phenomenal. But again, we're really lucky here that our you know, the current set of people that I work with, it's an amazing, you know, lineup of brands and kind of agencies.
Okay, let's move on to a quick fire round.
Okay.
FWA or NMA?
FWA.
Can Line or D&AD pencil?
Both.
Art directors or copywriters?
It's a real cop-out, but both. They go hand in hand, I think. They really do.
Apple or Android?
I've got to be careful because we do some work with Google. I mean, my heart tells me Android, but I know developing it can be difficult because of all the different specs. So from a developer point of view, Apple, and I have an iPhone as well.
Safe answer.
Yeah.
Degree or no degree?
Doesn't matter.
Retained work or pitch work?
Both. Keeps you on your toes.
Ant or deck?
Don't care.
Web or mobile?
Internet.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Done them both, prefer independent.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
Again, it's a cop-out, but I would say both for different reasons.
Oh, you're boring at this.
Yeah.
And lastly, twist.
Okay, in-house, our house.
Yeah, everyone, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Twist or stick?
Twist.
Thank you very much.
Okay.